Well, hello there everybody, and welcome to What's the Quack. I'm your host, Ducky. I hope you're all doing well. I'm not doing too bad. I'm tipping away. I did a workout yesterday, because as you all know, I'm back on the horseback dieting good and proper, and my weight wasn't shifting, so I think it's about time I did some exercise to help force it down. So I did an exercise, and now today it hurts to even cough. I got a pain in my gills. You know that area between your like armpit and your side. That kind of, if you were a fish, it's where I'd imagine your gills would be. I got a pain right there. I don't even think there's muscle there. You know, it's below your pecs. Like, why does it hurt? You know what's worse? I don't usually get DOMs. Like, once I'm in the thick of it, once I'm working out pretty frequently, like when I'm doing it 2 or 3 times a week consistently, I don't get DOMs at all. DOMs, for those of you who don't know, is a delayed onset muscle soreness. It's that fucking horrible pain you feel. Like it's almost a borderline satisfying pain, but it's pretty horrible. It's debilitating the first workout you do. That you get the morning after a reasonable hard workout or a long layup of not working out. But I don't normally get them once I'm in the thick of it. In the past was quite worrisome, because I'm just like, am I not doing it? I'm not pushing as hard. You know, it's when you feel the pain after a workout, it's like, yeah, I accomplished something. I did it. I actually gave a bit of effort there, because I'm paying for it now, and it's a satisfying pain in that regard. But no, you're in a long layup, it's fucking debilitating. I remember once years ago, I hadn't worked out at all, and I went to the gym. Decided to start taking up gymming again, and I went to the gym with a friend of mine, and it just turned into a fucking battle of egos inside the gym, where who could lift more weights. Well, my levels are a little bit high, but we're both about the same strength level. We hadn't been working out overly at all for years, and when we got in there, started lifting weights, it just became a competition between the two of us. You know, young men, when we're like, I think we're early 20s, late teens, in and around that. And it just became a battle of who could one up the other person. So we're like fucking hitting the leg pressing and fucking bench press, everything. Fucking anything he could do, I could do better, and vice versa. I just remember the very next day after that, because we're in the gym for about 2 hours. Ridiculous amount of time to spend in the gym for anyone. But the next morning, when I got up, I couldn't raise my arms higher than tit level. Anything beyond that was just fucking excruciating. I absolutely obliterated my fucking muscles. That was about 4 or 5 days of absolute horror and pain. And I remember I didn't go back to the gym for about 2 years after that. It was such a bad experience. I'm not that bad today though, thankfully. It's just it hurts to cough. And if I kind of turn particular ways, I'm feeling it. I didn't go too hard at it. I only gave about a half an hour workout just to kind of ease myself back in. And it was only cardio as well. I wasn't doing the weights. I was like, fuck that. I'm not breaking out the weights. I won't be able to move in the morning. I'll just be waking up in the morning and turning to Connie going, kill me. But the worst thing, I got up this morning, I was like, shit, the back garden's in a state now. Like, grass. Fucking hate grass. I always have to fucking cut it, especially like the summer, where it just fucking grows as quick as my normal ejaculation. I don't know. It grows pretty fucking fast anyway. And so you have to keep on top of it. So I was like, grand, I have to go cut that now. But then, sure, pushing and pulling out of the fucking lawnmower, and that hurt as well. I'm hurting like the 11th toss of the day, you know? Any bit of fucking a slight breeze, and I'm just like, I actually have somewhat of a plan going into today's podcast. I want to talk about the bro code, the man code, the 10 bromandments, you know? Because I'm actually working on a video at the moment about the man code, because it's actually something I think people enjoy. And like it's there online if you want to see it. There's like a load of people have done quite good man codes, written man codes online, and it's a pretty good guideline to follow. But I want to do one in a video format and give my own take on certain man codes that I think are, need improvement upon. I haven't fully written it yet. I've just gotten an outline. I know I have like my 3 video for 3 weeks streak going, but I'm kind of breaking that this week because I felt a little bit burnt out, so I took a couple of days off. But I'm back at it now again. But if for those of you who don't know, the man code is like this, more often than not, sort of rules of camaraderie amongst men. They're kind of general guidelines that every man kind of agrees upon. You can kind of follow these basic rules, and everybody will get on, and nobody will be stepping on anybody's toes and stuff like that. I think most of you know what the bro code is. Particular things. An example of the bro code would be, don't fuck or fraternize with your mate's girlfriend. That's a very basic one. You've got more kind of obscure ones like, you must always insult your friends. Do it at least once a day, just because that's just how blokes are. But while I was doing that, I came across a lot of bro code rules or codes that people have put on the internet that I don't agree with, or I think are bad for whatever reason. So whereas my next video is going to be about all the ones I love, I thought, why not to talk about the ones I don't love on a podcast? So I'm hitting it from both sides, as your boy often does. Am I right, ladies? Woo! Yeah. Oh, you dirty bastard. As you can tell, I've had my coffee. I'm going to do kind of a list of them here. I have a list made out of ones that I disagree with, and we'll talk about them. So, first one on the list is, if you've known a guy for more than 24 hours, his sister is off limits forever, unless you actually marry her. That one I don't agree with, because I know a lot of lads and I would absolutely shag their sister. Well, my problem with this is you can easily know a lad for more than 24 hours but not be mates with him, you know? You can be just like that stray that occasionally shows up on a night out but you're not particularly close with him. So I think the rule should be if that friend is in your core group of friends, if you consider them in your core group of friends, then their direct family members are off limits. Cousins are fair game, you know, stuff like that. That's fair enough, but I think direct family would be a no-go. That would be my rule of thumb. But that's just because it really depends how familiar you are with them. The more familiar you are, the more grey area there is. No, it's just down to familiarity. Play it by ear, but you know, but if it's part of the core group of friends, nah, off limits, not happening. That's just a bit odd. They can certainly make remarks about how attractive your sister is, or, you know, you can make remarks on how attractive their sister is, but that's just a bit of bants, you know, just get a rise out of them, a bit of development, a bit of trolling, you know, just having a bit of fun. But beyond that, you know. Rule number 2 that I find disagreeable: unless he's murdered somebody, you must always back up your friend. I disagree with this. I think some questions need to be asked before you take a side in that one. Because if one of my mates came to me and he said he murdered somebody, he needs some help covering it up, I'm going to ask a few questions. And this is just because I'll be on the fence immediately. I'm not immediately like, no, you murdered somebody, how dare you? I want to know a bit more information. So what I want to know first and foremost was, who was it he killed? Is it somebody I already don't like that could sway my vote? You know, what happened? You know, that's a valid thing. You know, it could have been a justifiable murder, could have been self-defense for all I know. Thirdly, what's the likelihood of us both getting caught? Because if it's very likely we're going to be caught, then it's like, yeah, come on, lad, if you're going down, don't take me with you. I'll give you a hand if there was a chance, but Jesus, if we're both getting fucking done, like, you know, there's no good in me helping you there. And the most important one, I probably should have led with this, but has the person he murdered kicked a dog at any stage of his life? That's quite important. Any malicious harm towards animals, I wouldn't even fucking flinch. I would absolutely cover up that murder. Be like, what happened? Well, he spat in my dog's face. I'd be like, okay, let's start digging that fucking hole. So I think, yeah, it really depends the circumstances. Number 3, under no circumstances may 2 men share an umbrella. Now, first of all, I've never in my entire 31 odd years on this planet had the opportunity, have been in a situation where I could possibly share an umbrella with a man. It's mostly because men don't typically plan ahead. Men are incredibly short-sighted. If it's pissing rain outside, an umbrella wouldn't even cross our minds. We'd be just like, yeah, sure, I'll throw on a jacket. That's as far as it goes. And I think, you know, everybody has that thing in the back of their head. It's like, no, if I take an umbrella, I'll be struck by lightning. And I think that's a fair concern. But just for shits and giggles, if one of the lads did have an umbrella walking down the road, I'd absolutely share that. Because me and my mates were very secure in our sexuality. So we have no problem at all acting gay for the sake of a laugh. You know, for the sake of a bit of bands. So I think if one of the lads had an umbrella, I'd absolutely walk up and throw my arm around him. I might even like lean my head in his chest as we walk, just for shits and giggles, you know? There's nothing funnier to a group of straight men of behaving in a homosexual way. It's just hilarious, you know? Number 4, on road trips, the strongest bladder determines pit stops and not the weakest. Don't agree with that either, because that's just kind of cuntish. If one of the lads needs to take a lash, stop and let him take a lash. You know, it's the best thing about being a bloke as well, you're already equipped with a fucking aiming device. Pull over to the side, find a ditch, piss into it, back in the car, away you go. I remember one time was it, myself and the boys were heading out in Cork, but PJ already lived in Cork at this stage, and I think it was myself and Hef heading down to him, and I was driving down. But sure, Hef had kind of started pre-drinks because we were heading down a bit late. So Hef was kind of drinking away inside the car there in the passenger seat next to me. And we had to stop twice on the way down. I had no problem stopping for him, let him out, had a lash. I know what it's like to be busting for a piss. And yeah, sure, just pull over the hard shoulder, he lips the guardrail and pisses right there. Just make sure you face away oncoming traffic, because you don't want to be like, you know, just whipping your lad out there for everyone to see. You know, you put your back to him. It's the polite thing to do. Number 5, before dating a buddy's ex, you are required to ask permission. If he grants it, he is, however, allowed to say, man, you're going to love the way she licks your balls. I've already mentioned this. I don't agree with that at all. I think under no circumstances should you ever, for a second, even consider going off with a mate's ex. Not once. She should not even register on your fucking... I think I'm actually going to mention this one in the video now that I think of, but she should not even register on your fucking... your horn there. She should be looked at like, you know, a family member, like a distant relative or something like that. You know, that's the way you need to view friends, girlfriends. You can say all the lovely things, you know, that they enjoy. It's like, yeah, your girlfriend's very attractive. Well done, lad. You know, stuff like that, build them up. But, you know, you absolutely not. You're not to be investing your dick in this situation whatsoever. Your dick has absolutely no place in your mate's exes. You know, that's an absolute no blow zone, you know, no go zone. I'm completely opposed to that. I believe if you were to ask a buddy permission, could you go off and ride his ex? I think he should be allowed full force kick you squarely between the legs and never speak to you again, because I think that's just cuntish. There's fucking 3 billion plus women in this world. Find somebody else to park your dick in. Number 6, women who claim they love to watch sports must be treated as spies until they demonstrate the knowledge of the game and the ability to pick a buffalo wing clean. I disagree with that for one thing. It's not the premise of that is, I don't know, it's kind of too specific. But the one thing that it made me think of was when a woman hangs out with fellas and she's not on the table for fucking, if that makes sense. Like she's just part of the group, you know, or she's going out with somebody and stuff like that, you know, where she's not available to ride. Now, when you present a woman to a group of lads and she's not available to ride, the lads will do one of two things. She will be ignored completely, more or less, for the night, and she'll just be humoured in small talk and conversation. Or she will be welcomed into the group with open arms by all the lads, who'll then proceed to take the piss out of her and insult her in the same manner in which they do the lads. She'll automatically become one of the boys for the period of time that she's there. Problem is, in my experience and a lot of men's experience, you know, having talking to friends and whatnot, is the vast majority of women can't take the same slagging that fellas do. They're simply not used to it. So, you know, if I turn to one of my mates and say, "Go on, you fat bastard, you water off a duck's back," they enjoy it. They'll fly an insult back at me just as quick. The crack continues. It's a bit of a banter sparring session. But in my experience, a woman will only kind of do that for so long, but anytime you throw like a random jab at her playfully, it's like 10% of that sinks in as personal. And this accumulates over the night. She's not able to disassociate the crack with, you know, the genuine insults. So it's happened on more than one occasion where you'll just have certain girls who you thought were great crack and you loved hanging out with them, with the group of lads, would just be coming kind of going, "Oh no, I don't want to hang out with you guys. To be honest, you just sit there for the night insulting me, so it's not very fun." And you're like, "But you're not fucking special in this regards, honey. You were insulted probably less than everybody else in the room because we're just trying to be courteous. You're new. We're welcoming you in. Why are you suddenly taking exception to this? If you want a bit of crack and a bit of bands, join in." It puts a damper on as well, because where you think you were just having the crack, having the bands, and she was laughing away, enjoying herself, in the back of her head she was getting caught and getting hurt by this, and they're like, "Ah, fuck. Now I was being a bollocks and I was completely unaware of it," because like in typical fucking woman fashion, she wouldn't fucking tell you. So yeah, you get this weird kind of thing where it's very difficult to hang out with a woman in the same respect as you would hang out with the lads, because a lot of the time, not saying every time, because certain women are lesbians, actually, in my experience, well able to take an insult. I don't know what it is. Is it the fondness for women? That's the mutual ground that we can all get upon. But yeah, the majority of women will take the same insults that lads dish out to each other, light-hearted banter and, you know, the playful jabs. They'll take that personally, and then, you know, it's not fun for them. So that's I don't know how I kind of ramble off that, but that's kind of the thing I'm getting at. A woman should be treated kind of like the lads, but a lot softer. But then that's kind of annoying as well, having to adjust your behaviour for the night, because you're like, "Ah, fuck it, if I wanted to adjust my behaviour, would I come out with the fucking missus?" Moving on. This one says, number 7. If a man's zipper is down, that's his problem. You didn't see anything. I disagree with that. I think if one of the boys' fly was down, I'd be like, "Lad, your fly's down." And that'd be it. I don't know. See, a lot of these man codes are like really homophobic in a way. And, you know, I get that. It's that kind of man mentality that, you know, men should not be gay. But I think me and the lads spend so much time with gay insults with each other and, you know, kind of remarking and letting on to be gay and stuff like that. It's just, it's like fucking, it's just taking the whole taboo or the previous alpha, "Oh, you can't be gay." That's kind of taking the sting out of it altogether. So like if PJ's fly is down, I'll be like, "Oh lad, your fly is down." People probably remark back, it's like, "Oh, what are you looking down there for? Do you want a bit of it?" I'll be like, "Go on lad, you dirty bastard, you'd only love it." It'd just turn into a joke again, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think don't be so fucking terrified of being perceived as gay for spotting a mate's fly being down. See, I think actually the majority of these man codes are written by lads that are in their very early 20s, where they still have that kind of hierarchy battle going on with their group of friends. Everybody's battling to be the alpha male in their kind of group, you know, who's the favourite, who's the more popular, and it's this fucking head game where they're always see who can come out on top. So it's always a fight for power. Myself and PJ observed this one night. We're at a house party, and there was 2 groups of people there. So there was like the older group, which was myself, PJ, and the rest of us and all that, we were kind of our late 20s, early 30s kind of age. And there was this kind of other group of lads that were there, and they were anywhere between 19 and 23, that kind of group. And towards the end of the night, there was this girl who showed up to the party. Quite attractive girl. Myself and the lads obviously knew her. We were just being friendly with her and all that. But we sat back towards the end of the night as this kind of younger group started to kind of flirt with her and try chat her up and all that. And you just had these, I think it was about 4 guys, and they were just cutting each other down in front of the girl, like verbally cutting each other down to win her favour, to chat her up and stuff like that. And I remember myself and PJ kind of sitting back kind of going, God, we've changed as men, haven't we? I was just like, I remember being that age and trying to one up my friends, just kind of going, oh, fuck you, boy, sure, he only has a small little dick there, like I have a bigger dick than him, but I'll ride the heart and soul out of anything at all. And it's just this pure battle of cut one lad down so you can put yourself on top, and every group has this fucking aura of like, there needs to be somebody on top of the pyramid, there needs to be somebody who's the best in the group, or the leader in the group. And we were just kind of giggling at that, and we're like, how times have changed now, because like now we're just hanging out, we're a group of friends, we're all bringing something to the table, that kind of way, in our own little way. There's no one leader of it all. If anything, the leader in quotes is just whoever's house it is that night, and that's just polite. You kind of they tend to have a bit more authority over everything that's going on. But it's not perceived as we're just the soldiers and he's the fucking captain there marching along. No, none of that. It's just funny, as you age, kind of things become less important. Nowadays, I'd say if we were all fucking single and there was a tasty girl looking for a bit of pipe, we'd probably be falling over each other, bigging each other up, We wouldn't even need to flirt ourselves. The other lads would flirt on our behalf and vice versa. So yeah, it's just that kind of whole change of just ages and mentalities made myself and PJ chuckle. So what's next? This one, number 8. When stumbling upon other guys watching sports events, you may always ask what's the score of the game in progress, but never ask who's playing. This one I don't get, because I'm not sporty. None of my mates are sporty. We'll watch a bit of UFC or something like that, but none of us are big into sport. A lot of that's got to do with where I'm reared, where I grew up. They're big into the GAA, which is like an Irish kind of football thing where Gaelic football and hurling. A lot of thick fuckers were really into it, and that put us off. It's like good TV shows. Like, there's the best example I can give you. If somebody's like really into a TV show, and it's a really good TV show, and they're recommending this TV show to you, and you think it might be enjoyable, but you refuse to watch it because the person who's recommended it to you don't like, or you think is a fucking idiot with poor taste. And then, that's the only reason you refuse to watch. It's like Game of Thrones. For years, people were telling me to watch Game of Thrones. I think it just finished season 3. And people were like, oh, you need to watch it, you'd love it, Ducky, it's a great show. But the people telling me to watch it were like, oh, fuck off, you fucking idiot, I'd never watch it, and you'd watch. That kind of thing. And eventually I did get around to watching it. It was fantastic, they got lucky this time. But I was like that with sports. So many of the fucking thick cunts around me were big into the sports and all that. It pretty much just put me off it. That, and when I was growing up, I was more into like kind of skateboarding and stuff like that, which, you wouldn't exactly turn on fucking Sky Sports and have the skateboarding on there. So this whole thing is just kind of irrelevant. If anything, I'm more likely to walk in and watch one of the boys watching a movie, and chances are it's a good movie, I'll sit down and watch. One of the things I kind of really miss, now that we're kind of knee deep in the pandemic, is not necessarily the night drinking, which I certainly do miss a night drinking with the boys. Have the banter and the crack that goes on there to be mighty, But it's the morning after where you're all feeling a little bit ill, and it's kind of like, right, we're all awake now. Let's go get some fucking greasy chipper food and come home and watch a movie. The boys are all up at the same time. We're all going getting food, and we're all parking ourselves in front of the TV there and watch a shitty movie until we're all kind of ready to get back to our own lives once again. And you'd miss that kind of air of, we're all shook and miserable, but there's a good film on, we're eating shit and just a little bit of bands going, You'd miss a bit of that. Number 9. If your girlfriend asks to set your friend up with her ugly, whiny, loser friend of hers, you must grant permission, but only if you have ample time to warn your friend to prepare an excuse about joining the priesthood. I get the gist of that. The heart's in the right place, I must say, with that one. But what I will say is, if you're going out with a girl and she thinks she should set one of her friends up with one of your mates, and you're not sure he'd go for it, best thing to do is, with your missus, deflect the question, just come back to it and say, look, I don't know, we'll see. Buy yourself some time and then present it to your mate. Say, listen, the missus is going to try set you up with this one, or at least going to inquire about setting you up with this one. Have a look into her, see what you think, give me an answer, and I can sway it one way or another, or I can make an excuse on your behalf. And you have ample time to kind of go, listen, the missus wants to set you up with her friend. I'd avoid her if I were you, lad. She's batshit crazy. She won't stop talking about combine harvesters. She won't stop licking the doorknobs in the house. She's weird. She's fucking baby mad, lad. She's broody as fuck. Don't put your dick in that. She'll chew a fucking hole in that condom, she will. So you need to kind of, I feel like you need that time to kind of prepare your friend or ask him, genuinely. Because you're just like, yeah, listen, if I told you that one was, I could set you up with that one, would you be interested? He could have a glance in her Facebook or something like that and go, she doesn't seem too bad. And, you can go from there. I think the biggest thing to kind of predict is whether or not he'd be only interested in riding her or would he be interested in going out with her. Because then your missus is setting this situation because, like, maybe they'll hit it off and start dating and get married and have loads of kids. That kind of fucking womanly thing. And 9 times out of 10, your man is thinking, Jez, I suppose I could dip me wick a couple of times in that then before hitting the road, Fucking just a couple of quick pokes and be gone, like. Shift and drift. So yeah, you kind of need to warn him with that as well. It's like, lad, I'll have to listen to my missus bitch about how you just fucked her off, like. There's many variables, but I will say, if your girlfriend asks you to set your friend up with one of her friends, you'll say, leave it with me. Don't confirm or deny it, So, number 10. If you ever compliment a guy's six-pack, you had better been talking about his choice in beverage. This one's another one of them kind of afraid to be gay kind of thing. I don't know. Well, in our group of friends, maybe we're just different to most lads, but in our group of friends, if one of the boys is kind of like working out fairly frequently or he's lost a load of weight, we'll just tell him, it's like, Jez, lad, you're looking built, you're looking buff, ba. Or Jez, you're after losing some load of weight, lad, fair play. You throw out the compliment, because ultimately if you're putting in a bit of work into your body, a bit of self-improvement, you want to be complimented to a little bit. You want to be noticed anyway, not necessarily complimented, but you want to be let known that it's made a difference in your appearance or whatever, like, so it's nice to be complimented, and I think there's nothing gay about that, if that's the thing you fear, or nothing so delicate or gentle about that you want to avoid as a fella. I don't know, we've never had problems, me and my mates kind of complimenting each other and stuff like that. So yeah, that one I just find a bit odd. I wouldn't, maybe not six-pack, yeah, I'd probably find that a bit weird. But that's just because, like, what situation could possibly present where you'd see your mate six-pack outside of a Tuesday, Number 11, if your buddy is trying to hook up with a girl, you may sabotage him only in a manner that gives you no chances of getting her either. I appreciate the sentiment in this, where it's just like, I'm only sabotaging you for the crack. But the thing is, getting a girl is quite important, for any man. When you're getting with a girl on a night out, especially if, you're getting with girls few and far between. It's been a while, or you have the possibility of a dry patch is there somewhere, as it always is for men. Something we all fear. So I think just the idea of sabotaging a lad's chances with a girl is a bit fucking barbaric now. That'd be kind of taking the piss. Don't be fucking up a lad's chances with a girl. That's not on. That's a bit too cunty, that kind of way. If anything, you should be over there making sure he seals the deal, over there talking him up, then making yourself scarce when you feel there's a bit of flirtiness going on, And I've often done it myself. I'd be talking to one of my mates and then a girl would wander over and we're just, talking over and back, having a bit of crack, a bit of bends. And then, when there's a bit of flirting going on, when I detect a bit of flirting between the other person and the girl, because I'm in a relationship, I don't flirt, then I'll start to make myself scarce because, it's let the conversation become more intimate. So detect a bit of flirtiness, I'll be just like, right lads, I'm off to the bar there, I'll talk to you in a bit, I'll be back or whatever, and I wouldn't come back, I'd just wander back to the other group of lads, because when you're on a night out with a kind of a bigger group of lads, you tend to break off into little splinter groups, so I'll just wander over to them or something. But yeah, you don't want to fuck up another man's chances of getting his hole. That's calls for execution right there in my book, That's too cunty of behaviour. Number 12, if you catch your girl messing around with your best friend, let your state's crime of passion laws be your guide. This one again, I suppose heart is in the right place in that regard, where it's just like, yeah, you're allowed to do what the fuck you want. Maybe your best friend, you might hit him a fucking belt for the pleasure of it, because that's very cuntish, because he's breaking one of my most sacred rules of the man code. Shouldn't be going near your fucking mates' exes, and that obviously goes without saying, that includes current fucking girlfriends as well. The reason why I want to talk about this is because ultimately it's your girlfriend's fault. If she's cheated on you with some other guy, or if you're a girl and your boyfriend's cheated on you with some other girl, don't be angry at the person that they've gone off and fucked. You can take a disliking to them. Absolutely. They're involved in a negative event. You don't need to like them. But don't hate them with the same passion that you should be hating your fucking spouse or significant other. Because your girlfriend or boyfriend in this situation, they're the bastards. They're the ones breaking the rules. And 9 times out of 10, they're going off with somebody who's single. And you can't be angry at somebody who's single, because they're not breaking any rules themselves. It's just kind of redirecting. Like for fellas, I know it's a kind of, I need to punch somebody and he's male, so that'll do. But, I used to get angry at this when I was younger, because of course I was cheated on as a younger man a few times. It was towards the later end of being cheated on, I started to realise, why am I getting so angry at these guys? They're just doing the exact same thing any guy out there does, and just chasing, getting his dick wet. He's not breaking any rules, he's not breaking anybody's hearts, he's not He's not making promises to anybody and then going off and, breaking them as well. He's not. My missus, who's supposed to be loyal to me, is breaking the fucking rules and being cunty. So that's where I should be directing my anger, not at anybody else. That's kind of what I mean with that one. But obviously, I think if it's your best friend, then he shouldn't be your best friend. Goes without saying, don't be flirting or anything with your mates' girlfriends. I know years ago I was going out with this girl. Bit of a whore. You probably all know who I'm talking about. But I had like extended friends. People I was friendly with. I suppose I'd call them friends to a degree, but they weren't good friends. There's people I'd bump into every couple of weeks or something like that and make small talk with and stuff. But when I was going out with her, we'd go out drinking. And then those lads would start flirting with her right in front of me. And on more than one occasion, I had to pull them aside and go, lad, I know you're probably trying to be friendly. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt there, but it's coming across very strongly like you're flirting with my missus there. So could you not do that? They'd be falling over themselves going, oh, no, lad, I wasn't doing that at all. No. And I was like, yeah, look, it's fine. If it's misunderstanding, it's a misunderstanding. It wasn't. They were definitely fucking flirting. I was just firing a warning shot in that regard. I was just like, lad, cop on the fuck before, I'll have to throw hands, lad. And, I've lost a few friends from that. Like, those particular friends that I warned, never really spoke to them after that again, because I was just like, no, that's a very cunty fucking thing to be doing. And when I broke up with my ex, one of those lads ended up going off with her not a week or two after that. Yeah, so I was just like, yeah, what a prick. Number 13, which is the last one I've listed here because it's unlucky. If you accidentally touch or brush against any part of another man below the waist, it is an understood accident and no apologies or any references to the occurrence is necessary. Again, more kind of like really homophobic shit. I don't even call it homophobic. It's like a thing in a guy where something feels, it's not gay is the right word, but it feels gentle or feminine or anything like that. It kind of goes against who we are, so I can kind of see it's not necessarily homophobic, but it's that kind of way. That, again, not a problem for me and my mates. If we brush against each other, we absolutely will make a reference and it will be very gay. And it'd be like gay chicken for all the world if you guys ever played that, where you're just like, just have a gay off with another man where you're just like, fucking two of you pretend to be gay and you just see how far you go. The original gay chicken, for those of you who don't know, is where you lock eyes with another man and then you kind of start closing your eyes and turning your head as if you're about to make out, shift them. And the other person would do the same, and obviously the chicken part is whoever chickens out before your lips touch. Oldest times I've got, I haven't played that in years, and I almost always lost. Bless my heart. You think me, somebody who spouts the joys of a gay Tuesday, would be quite good at it, but no. There's just some lads that absolutely had no comments about it at all, but then a couple of those guys are bisexual as well, so that's hardly fair. But anyway, lads, you know what time it is? Of course you know what time it is. It's everybody's favourite time. Quack Me Up Corner.
Quack, 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 quack me up. Quack, 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 quack me up. Get your ducks in order. It's time for Quack Me Up Corner.
An old man walks into a doctor's office and he says to the doctor, look, I'm having a bit of trouble performing in bed. So the doctor was like, no problem, hands him a little empty vial and he goes, I want you to take this home and bring me in a semen sample for tomorrow. So the old man was like, okay, no problem. So very next morning comes back into the doctor and the vial is empty. The doctor was like, the vial's empty, what happened? And the old man was like, okay, so I got home last night and, decided to get you that sample. So I tried it with my left hand, was having no luck at all. I tried it with my right hand, still having no luck at all. So I asked the wife if she could give me a bit of a hand, to which she did. She tried it with her left hand. She tried it with her right hand. She even tried it with her mouth, with her teeth in and her teeth out. Still no luck. So we called over Eileen, who's her next door neighbour. She did everything in her power as well. She tried it with her mouth. She tried it with her armpit. She tried it with her knees, for God's sakes. But for the life of us, none of us could get the lid off the jar. Yeah, a bit more of a long-winded one. I hope you enjoyed that. Bit of an older one as well. I remember hearing that years ago. Well, yeah, one thing I want to talk about. So I recently published a video. It was a video last week there. It was about the woman who approached the wrong till. In that video, I went on a little tangent about how Americans call trucks tractor trailers. And then I got inundated with comments. Loads of people from America, presumably, commenting about how Americans don't call trucks with trailers tractor trailers. I just thought I'd talk about this in the podcast and say that, lads, I'm absolutely 100% sorry for not doing my research. That's all bollocks. Lads, you're all wrong. Google it. Americans do call trucks and trailers tractor trailers. I've seen it in movies. I've seen it in online shit all over the place. It's there. And you know what? If you go to Google right now, all of you guys, regardless of what fucking country you're in, you type in tractor trailer and click in images, you'll be presented with a page of about 25 images, without scrolling. 2 of them are of an actual tractor. The rest are all trucks with trailers. I don't know why people are saying, no, Americans don't call tractors. You do. You just fucking do. Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it's a generational thing where the generation before you did. But ye do. That's all ye. I've seen it in the films. I've seen it belong in the picture house. I've seen it on the YouTubes. I don't know where, but so many people got passionate about it in the comments and said, we don't call them tractor trailers. You do. But you just do. It may not be you, it may be the other side. It's a big country. I know. It's fucking massive, man. It's huge. But you do. Somewhere in there, one of you do. And you're responsible for that. Don't put this on me. Don't shoot the messenger. I've seen it being called that in films, in documentaries, in videos, everywhere. You do. You fucking do. Also made me think of other things that are called different elsewhere. One thing that made me laugh, actually, and I only found out about this a couple of days ago, was a fanny pack. We all know what a fanny pack is. In America, it's the bags that you have, you strap around your waist, and it's the money bag in your front. It's just above your genitals, that kind of thing. And endlessly hilarious for Irish people who refer to a vagina as a fanny. It makes sense in that regard as well, because it's a pack in front of your fanny, a fanny pack. But fanny means arse in America. Your fucking, your booty, your ass. Even though it's on the front, which makes no sense at all. But then you go to the UK, it's called a bum bag, which is the same problem as America. What do you call a bum bag? It's not on your arse, it's on your crotch. Should be called a fanny pocket. An old gold bag. Oh, just made me laugh. Gowl bag is actually an Irish insult. You go, hey, you old gowl bag, yeah. Okay, starting a new thing, lads, whether you like it or not. From now on, fanny packs are to be called gowl bags. Oh, jeez, it's just the filth. Sorry, the guards just pass by the house there. I live in an estate, you see, so it's somebody's up to no good. You're down to old fucking drug dealers down the back there now. Pull them out by the fucking ears. Yeah, another one. Rest room. It's another Americanism that I don't get. Rest room. Why rest room? Who's ever gone to the bathroom for a rest? Who's like, Jesus lads, I'm fucking knackered. I could do with a shit, Jesus lads, I'm so wrecked. It's like, would you like a coffee? No, I'll be fine once I have a piss. It just makes no fucking sense at all. Oh god, I think I've had too much coffee, lads. I'm getting too giddy towards the end of this. I know, bathroom. Bathroom is kind of irrelevant as well, because a lot of public bathrooms don't have a bath in them. But normally you find a bath in the bathroom. So, that's where it's making sense from. It got me thinking, there's a few Irish sayings and words that would confuse a lot of people as well that I wanted to talk about. It's just a very educational podcast today, lads. It's really educational. A couple of Irish words I wanted to go over. By the way, I was going to mention, for those of you watching this on YouTube, I put timestamps. Or I try to put timestamps, because I digress way too often. But I try to put timestamps below, so you can, skip certain parts that interest you, because I know not everything might interest you. But so I want to talk about some Irish things that a lot of people may hear, Irish words or phrases and stuff like that people may hear and haven't a clue what they mean. Having a notion what they mean. Notion is one of the first ones I want to talk about, because it's a word that I find it hard to explain. A notion. Jesus, I had no notion. Notion is like idea, I suppose, would be the best description for a notion. It's kind of, you're getting notions, you're getting ideas. Notion wouldn't even be a good idea. It would be just he's kind of exuberous ideas. He's kind of ideas above his grasp, almost. So that lad's getting notions. Or it could be just simple as saying, I don't have a clue. It's like, Jesus lad, I don't have a notion what you're talking about. Haven't a clue. A morsel of information, A lot of Irish words I find very difficult to explain. It's like the word sure. S-H-U-R. Sure. Sure, look it, fuck it, it'll be grand. That kind of thing. It's very difficult to explain. It's more of a comma or just an exclamation more than it is a word. Another word is saunter. That's S-A-U-N-T-E-R. Saunter. It's funny because I actually looked up the definition of this, because somebody from a different county has a different definition to what I've always thought it was, and people around me thought it was. So what I think a saunter is just like a casual stroll with a kind of a level of arrogance to it, or a level of confidence, It's just like walking as if you own the place, but very slowly, and you're almost taking everything in, sure, Jesus, I just went for a little saunter there. You're just a little walk, a casual, carefree, relaxed yet confident walk. Somebody else from Limerick thinks the word saunter, or at least, their definition of the word saunter means a fast walk. He was sauntering down the road there. And it's just kind of mad that it was these two definitions are conflicting between us. So I don't know, maybe it depends what county you're from, to a different definition, but I like saunter. Saunter sounds like a relaxed walk. Sure, I was just going for a lovely little saunter there, taking in, saunter through the woods, taking it all in, Another one, lashing. You'd often hear me say this in videos on the lash or going for a lash. Two different words, more or less meaning the same thing. Lash is like a sudden large amount of liquid would be the best definition. So if you're saying I'm on the lash, which basically means I'm drinking, I'm out drinking, it's a sudden onset of a lot of liquid, in this case being alcohol, you're lashing it down you. It also means having a lash when you're taking a piss, a sudden onset of urine, going for a lash. And then the final one, it's lashing rain, which basically means, it's raining very heavily. Similar thing, sudden onset of a lot of liquid. This is the best description I can give that one. Another one is a phrase, come here and I tell you, which is one you'd hear often around, come here and I tell you. It's basically saying, come over here and I let you in on something. Come over here, I have something to tell you. The phrase effing and blinding, which is basically just a fun way of saying he was just cursing and swearing. He was fucking and blinding, so he was effing and blinding. All sorts of horrendous language out of him. And the last one I have written here is a cute hooer. Now, in Ireland, cute, as means the same thing as everywhere else in the world, is something that's adorable. But it also means somebody who's like sneakily clever, for the lack of a better description. Someone would say, oh, he's wicked cute, that lad. Don't trust him, he's cute. He has vindictive ideas almost, He's very clever, but in an underhanded way, almost, It's kind of like a sneaky way, like his ideas are not exactly above board. And then hooer is just, I'm guessing it just came from, calling somebody a hooer in general, but it's not necessarily the prostitute. It's just, he's a cute hooer, that lad. So there's Ducky's little Irish slang / American slang / bro code fucking podcast. God, it's going to be a fucking nightmare to name. But yeah, jeez, I think this one's actually gone on a bit longer than I expected. Wow, jeez, I can talk some shit. I'm getting better at talking absolute fucking effluent, aren't I? There's a bonus one. Effluent. It's like a filthy liquid, essentially. So shit water, sewerage. Talking effluent. That's more of like a last generation phrase now. One you don't hear often. I had the wrong joke written down as well. I literally just, for Quack Me Up Corner, I had one joke in my head, but it turns out to be different than the one I had written down. Normally I'd write one down so I know. So don't forget any line out of it and just basically tell you guys a statement rather than a joke. So you know what? I'll close on a joke, seeing as I have one spare this time. And then I'll leave you get back to your lives. And I'll get back to mine. So this joke is, I was doing a bit of food shopping the other day, and the bloke who scanned my items at the supermarket was super rude, unhelpful, and he smelled a lot like he'd been drinking. It's the last time I ever used the self-checkouts. Anyway, lads, thanks very much for listening to your boy Ducky. Get your daily dose of vitamin D, and I will catch you, lads and ladies, in the next one.